Hi, it's been a while. I wanted to do posts in February, but I was sick, didn't have a voice, so it wasn't going to make much sense anyway. So I kind of missed doing anything on Valentine's Day or Black History Month, but that's not really important. It's valid all year long. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the five languages of love. And you have to forgive me, I got some notes right here to kind of spur me along. But several years ago, I was at work and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she was telling me how she read this book that was talking about the five languages of love. And I was like, really? I had never heard of that. So she went on to tell me about it, and it was very interesting. She was talking about there are five different ways, basically, that people give and receive love. And when she went on to talk about them, all kinds of things clicked in my head. Things about my relationship with my mother, my family, my boyfriend's relationship with his family, all the things clicked into place. And so I wanted to go over that and what they mean for people. So the first is words of affirmation. Uh Words of appreciation, thanks, praising someone for who they are, what they do, what you appreciate about them. Me and Sidra like to call that validation. Um Oftentimes this is a very overlooked type of love. Uh, People get so busy in their daily lives and they have expectations of the ones that they love. They expect you to do stuff. And if you do it because they expect you to do it, they may not say anything as simple as thank you. You know, as we get older, oftentimes people forget their very basic manners that we learned in elementary school. The next one, the acts of service. You're home from a long day at work, the dishes are washed, the car is washed, the clothes are folded, things like that. Everybody loves acts of service. Receiving gifts. Receiving gifts can get kind of tricky because sometimes there are people who only feel like you're loving them if you're giving them something. Then there's quality time, that's self explanatory, and physical touch, which is also self explanatory. So these are all the different ways that love can be given and received. But say you have two people. Doesn't matter if they are man and woman, woman and woman, man and man, whether they are partners, whether they are mother and son. If you have two people who give and receive love in different ways, there can be a clash. There can be a primary foundational clash in that relationship. If you're the kind of person that shows your love by giving someone things, that's great. But if the person you're giving things to needs words of affirmation, they need validation, that's going to be a problem. Because sure, you can give them a dozen roses, but if you don't tell them that the work they do around the house is appreciated every now and then, they're going to feel unloved. That's going to lead to problems. And problems can rear their head in all kinds of ways. Depends on who you're dealing with. They could be an argument, they could cheat, they could cut up your clothes, or they could be civil and have a conversation with you. But you know, someone tells you, I don't think you love me. Why? I just got you that car for Valentine's Day. Oh, that was great. Although I didn't really want it. I just wanted to tell me I did a good job painting the baby's room. So understanding how you yourself give love and receive it is very important. And then having that internal knowledge about yourself will serve you when you're engaging with those around you. When you enter into what I like to call a relationship contract with someone you're going to be partnered with, it's important to ask them, hey, so how do you give and receive love? It may seem weird at first, but once you start having the conversation, and if they're an intelligent being, they'll understand what you're getting at. Because if you know up front what they need and they know what you need, then it'll be easier to give it. And if they can't handle that, that's a good point to move on. Move on to somebody else who's got needs they can't handle. Now, if you don't have to be pigeonholed to just one type. You can enjoy words of affirmation. Lots of folks like getting gifts or having things done for them. So there are people who receive love in all of these ways, but there are always going to be one that's more important than the other. Um, Receiving gifts, being with someone that you have to give gifts to, that can be tiresome because you may not be in a position to always do that. And having your love tied up in monetary value, that can get very tricky. But simple things like acts of service, hugs, spending time watching a movie, or the most inexpensive thing, words of affirmation. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you appreciate them. Tell them you like how they cook the meal. Simple stuff. It's really simple. And we get tied up in our own lives, in our own heads, and our own thoughts, and oftentimes neglect these things. But it's very important to try and keep them in mind. And if you are neglecting them, and your partner or your parent or your child tells you that, things are amiss because these things aren't happening the way they used to, that's an opportune time to have that conversation. It's even better if it's between a parent and child, because it sets a nice foundation for that child about how relationships should be. Mom, Dad, you said you were going to take me here for my birthday. It's a birthday, it's a special day. It's a promise. You didn't keep it. You can have a conversation about that, and it sets an idea in that child's head about the way situations should be handled in a loving relationship, no matter the status of that relationship. So it's always important to understand how you receive love and how you give it, because there are people who love giving gifts. So if you love giving gifts and you find somebody who loves getting them, hey, that's perfect. If you love giving compliments and you find someone who likes being validated, that's perfect. It's not going to always be like that, though. So that conversation needs to be had early, and it might need to be had often, because people change. People's needs change. Situations cause people to change, and the way they want to receive love might change as well. It might grow. It might shrink. You never know. So that leads to having more of a conversation, emotional conversation about expectations over your time with your partner or with your parent, whatever the relationship may be. So keep in mind, love's important. Understand how you give it and how you need it reciprocating.